they call me? They call me Devin Zoolander. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Yeah, they call me Devin Zoolander. Ooh, almost messed up. What's good? Devin Zoolander. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. And I look good on camera. How's everyone doing? Hope you're doing well. All right, enough of that BS. I'm very happy today because I get to bring you all an artist and a friend that I've known for quite a long time. I've been in Pittsburgh about 12 years, and I met this brother probably about like 10 years ago, something like that. He wasn't grinding the way he is now. He was grinding, but just in a different way. But it is my great honor to introduce visual artists and just multidisciplinary artists, chef, culinary artists, whatever. Put your hands together for my man, C.B. Perry.
What up, people?
Q, how you feeling today?
Pretty good, man. It's a weekend off and the sun's shining, so it's a good day.
Absolutely. I definitely like this weather. I'm not even gonna say appreciate, because appreciate ain't working right now. Sometimes you say words and it's like it's not hitting. But yeah, I appreciate it too because we've been through a lot in Pittsburgh weather-wise, and it's just so good to see some sunshine. And I like the fact that I can walk outside and have a sweatshirt on and I'm good.
Yeah, it's a nice day. Finally we get some good weather semi-consistently, so get out and enjoy if you can.
Absolutely. Now, let's talk about your background. Let's go back to, let's say, high school, college, what kind of hobbies that you have growing up, and also were you doing art back then?
Okay, well, growing up, I was into art and comics and, and sports, of course, but, of course, in most black neighborhoods, it's not like everybody's told that you can make it out the hood being anything other than a rapper, basketball player, or football player. But I was always into art growing up, and I always had a fascination. And like even my parents picked up on it. And I remember for one Christmas, I got like a drafting table when I was like 8.
Wow.
But I was drawing all the time when I was young. High school, it was all sports. Like, I mean, I was into art, but it just wasn't a choice for a career path. Like, in my mind, I was going to the Olympics or the NFL in high school.
Yeah.
And then I got to college, and it was all party. Nothing but nonstop party. I wasn't worried about sports. I wasn't worried about art. It was a nonstop party. And then reality sets in.
Yeah.
Life hits you.
Yeah.
Definitely. But yeah, I've been interested into art my whole life in any medium, whether it's, cartoons, drawing, sculpting, anything.
Wow. Well, that's deep, and I like the fact that you have experience with different kinds of art, like not just visual art, but you're into all kinds of art.
Yeah, and that's just something I've always been an open-minded person. So I just didn't want to just put myself in a box and say this is the only discipline I do and this is me. It's just fun to explore what you may be good at and you don't even know it.
Yeah, definitely. Now, can you take us into what year did you become a professional artist?
I don't remember the year. Maybe 2015 or 16.
Okay.
I remember my first art show was at the August Wilson Center, the Showcase Noir, and I was crazy, scared, timid. I kind of didn't even want to do it, and then last minute I decided I was gonna do it. Like 2 weeks prior to the deadline, I submitted all my information, and I realized I had to come up with some artwork real quick.
Yeah.
So I was just painting nonstop for 2 weeks, and then displayed all my artwork at the August Wilson Center, and I sold about 90% of it. Like, wow. I've never been that successful at a show, ever. I never made that amount of money in that short amount of time. And at my leisure, it was just fun painting, and I was like, this needs to keep happening.
Yeah.
And then it just went on from there.
So I interviewed another visual artist, Kelsey Watson, who is based in Erie, but she comes back and forth to Pittsburgh a lot. And when I talked to her, she told me that she is very much into surrealism, and she said that one of her biggest inspirations is this artist named Justin Wadlington, and I follow him on Instagram after she put me on. But I just wanted to get a little bit into how you would describe your own art. What kind of art do you make?
I would just, if I had to put a name on it, I would just say just multidisciplinary because, I love, speaking of surrealism, my favorite artist, the king of surrealism, is Salvador Dali.
Okay.
He was the only artist that kept me awake in art history in college. I
Yeah.
love Dali. But I don't subscribe to one genre. Like I'm open to any. Like I don't do cubism, I don't do surrealism, I don't do a lot of contemporary stuff. I don't do a lot of abstract stuff. It just depends on my mood. Like I might be walking down the street and see a nice tree, and I'm like, yo, that tree looks dope. Like the way the browns, and I just might be motivated to mimic that imagery of the tree and how the wind hits it. But I don't, like Bruce Lee said, be like water, be formless.
Right.
So I try to, definitely translate that through my artwork. So whatever moves me.
I hear you, man. Well, whatever it is, like you could call it, like, it's funny because you said cubism, and you could just be like Qism. It's just a
That might be a thing next year. It might be called Qism, and whatever. Like I said, there's so many different styles and different mediums, but even I've done a couple murals. I've done a couple, a lot of work with spray cans. So I just feel like you're shooting yourself in the foot if you subscribe to like just one style.
Yeah. So let me talk. I want to ask you because I know that as much as you are passionate about creating your art, you're also passionate about your people. You love being black. You love the community. You love painting pictures of us, almost kind of like JJ a little bit off of Good Times. And what I'm thinking about is how we're now living in a time when protests have always been happening, but they seem to be happening like every year because we're bringing more and more attention to what's going on. So I wanted to know, how has the recent events against unarmed black people like George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, how have those circumstances impacted your art, and what kind of art did you create as a result of what's been going on in the world?
Well, as most of us, we tried to figure out, where's our place in the fight? What could we do to help support? And, if you want to protest, if that's your lane, by all means. If you got a fat pocket, donate if you can to whoever needs it, to the families, lawyer fees, even to bail protesters out of jail, whatever you can do. And for the longest, I've tried to figure out, what can I do? So I remember when Antoine Rose, he was murdered, I did a painting for him, and 100% of the proceeds went to his family. And most recently, the Millie's collaboration, 50% of the proceeds go to One Hood for their social justice efforts.
Okay, great.
So each plank that somebody buys, half the proceeds for that go to One Hood, so they could pay for lawyers, help bail people out of jail and stuff.
Can you talk now I gotta let y'all know, Q is a great guy, because not only is he a great artist, but my brother got some hospitality. He got some respect for the people that host him for their own YouTube shows, because he definitely hooked me up with some ice cream that I'm going to definitely get down on. But I think I missed that part of that being something you do. So can you please tell the people about the ice cream and why it started?
So it's a collaboration with Millie's Ice Cream. It's a local Pittsburgh ice cream company. And how it started was I don't know, within the three to 4 years, just coincidentally, I've been getting attached to brands and coming out with signature. I had a signature beer for Fresh Fest. I had a signature ice cream sandwich with Liana's. Also, I had a signature burger at Burger Brewery.
Wow.
I mean, anybody that knows me knows I love food.
Yes.
So a lot of them have to relate to food and drinks. But initially, the Millie's collaboration started with... they asked me to do an art show randomly. The owner of Millie's, Chad, he bought some of my artwork like 2 years ago. Then he's been following my career since. And then one day, his wife just hit me up, emailed me like, "Hey, can I give you a call?" And I was like, "Sure." And she asked me, "Hey, we want you to do an art show down at our new location in Lawrenceville. It's huge. The wall's huge. It'll be great for art show." And at the time, racial tensions were like really, really high in the city. And I'm like, bet.
Yeah.
So I meet up with her. We have a meeting, and I'm like, art show's cool, but I'm like, let's take it a step further. I just pitched the idea. She was like, oh my god, that's great. Let's do a flavor.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bet. Then I was like, let's take it even a step further. I want the proceeds to go to help somebody with something. And at the time, I believe, I want to say George Floyd was murdered at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I gotta do something. And I had no idea that it was going to be this big. I had no idea that Giant Eagle wanted to be a part of it. So it just kind of, it's still going. And they initially had 10,000 units, and I believe they're working on another set of 10,000 units.
Wow.
So it's definitely helping, and it's raising awareness. Even the packaging has a couple hashtags. It has like graffiti all over it, so it's pretty cool.
So you got your own brand of ice cream, your own beer, your own burger, all these things.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, that's exciting, man.
It's only the beginning, man.
Yeah, definitely. I'm proud of you. I see the movement. Now, that brings me to another point. I'm a transplant from Philadelphia, as you know. You're a native Pittsburgher. Real quick, where are you from in Pittsburgh?
Northside, man.
Northside. That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Oh, yeah.
I got in an argument with a brother online, and he started telling me like, yeah, I'm from Manchester. Like you a little too fly with your mouth right now. Like, you know, this Facebook stuff.
I mean, Manchester was pretty tough. It's a character builder.
Got it.
But nowadays, it's rather light.
So what I wanted, bro, I got you. So what I wanted to get to, though, by asking you where you're from, is that while a lot of people like myself, we move here, we go to school here, we get jobs here, we end up staying here. I know for me, ultimately, I don't want to remain in Pittsburgh, like as far as raising kids, getting married, all that kind of stuff. I see myself being somewhere else. Not sure quite where yet. But going back to you, where do you see yourself remaining in Pittsburgh, and how conducive is remaining in Pittsburgh to your growth as an artist and your business, and would you consider relocating?
So I've thought about that for like the last 5-10 years, and for the longest I wanted to get out. I know I personally call it like the Great Migration, where a lot of people I grew up with just left. They all went to, of course, Atlanta, Charlotte, DC.
Yeah.
And I've noticed half of them came back. And whatever your career path is, it all depends on, that determines, usually where you end up. And a lot of people don't, well, statistically, there's not a lot of opportunities for black people in Pittsburgh. So in the art world, it's a little different because it's not necessarily like a race game, Everybody has walls. And I even shocked a lot of people who bought art from me that didn't know I was black. And so it's like, I just happen to be lucky in my career field that I do art. So I'm, comfortable here. But, certain career fields is definitely more lucrative to bounce out. So I wouldn't hold that against nobody. But me, I don't see myself leaving, because it's like I'll be leaving like a large fan base. And,
Got you.
And more recently, I had a project proposal, might have been 3 days ago. And it was in my old grandmother's neighborhood. Like, I didn't even know I had these memories. And I'm like, wow. And the lady I'm collaborating with had no idea. She's also from the north side. And I'm like, you know what? Grandmother lived. And that's where I used to play. And so I'm like, yeah, I got to stay here. There's just too much of my personal history here to just want to go anywhere.
I respect it. And I think that Pittsburgh definitely respects that. Their homegrown talent is staying.
I love it here.
You're not taking your talents to South Beach or somewhere else. You stay.
I mean, South Beach is nice, but it's not to raise a family at.
And I guess to add to what you're saying, anywhere you want to go is always a plane ride or a ride. You can travel for shows. You can go international. You can do whatever you want.
You can go anywhere you want. But I mean, I like where my roots are.
Gotcha.
I even spoke to a few other local artists that are from Pittsburgh. They have one guy, he has a studio in New York. Another guy has a studio in LA. So he bounces back and forth, and I'm like, sounds great.
Now, I want you to talk a little bit about what was it like. Let's say 2015 marks your professional anniversary as an artist. So around that time, what were some of the challenges you faced in establishing a client base? Because the reason why I'm asking you is because here's what I've been experiencing as someone who's stepping into the content creator space, is that people will if the people that actually do like your videos or like your paintings or whatever you
Mm-hmm.
post, they'll like it. They'll be like, "That's dope." You can announce something. They'll be like, "Yo, that's really great."
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to actually monetizing, like patronizing, like,
Mm-hmm.
"Yo, this dude is doing this professionally," which means that he's doing it for money,
Mm-hmm.
not just for you to pat him on the back.
Mm-hmm.
So, with all the people that knew you as just Q in whatever capacity, teacher, culinary artist, football player, all these different things that they knew you as, what were some of the challenges in not only establishing a client base with people that are outside of your friends, but even establishing a client base within your friend circle that will be willing to be like, yo, Q is a dope artist and I'm going to support him financially?
So that's a loaded
Yeah.
question, but I mean, I'll get deep. I
All
want
right.
to get deep. So,
Okay.
to answer your question, is 2015. It was hard. I mean, hard. I mean, that's when when people say you should chase your passion. It wouldn't have been done if I didn't love it because it was hard. Like trying to get people that you're cool with that know you as this to see you in a different light is hard because most of them don't.
So, sorry there, folks. We were having a little bit of technical difficulties, but we're right back. And Q, I believe you were in the middle of a story.
Oh yeah, so it was tough early on, like extremely tough because you're not used to people that I guess you're cool with, like not believing in you, not pushing you, and it's tough. But I mean, over years, I had a chip on my shoulder, but then I realized, your friends are your friends. They're not necessarily your supportive fan base. Like they're friends. They're there to support you as a friend, not to be your number one consumer. And I learned after years, like majority of people that buy from me are strangers. Like majority of people that push me and support me and love my work, people I've never met. I've looked at the stats. A lot of old ladies, like it's weird.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of old ladies, but and a lot of people
Yeah.
with like disposable income.
Yeah.
So I feel anybody who's starting something, look at what your product is, whatever it is, and look at who consumes it. And just don't take things personal. Like everybody doesn't have to like you.
Right.
But I mean, friends should be friends, but everybody doesn't have to like what you do, you know. But I mean, I expect my friends to be friends. I don't expect them to be like consumer based.
Yeah. And what I'm seeing is that people, they love to eat the meal when it's already cooked and prepared.
That too.
But when it comes time to buy the ingredients and put the work in the kitchen, then everybody wants to. Because you, like,
Okay.
I know you. This is what I'm going to get to. So one of my one of my favorite memories of Q is attending the cookouts that he would have, and he would be like just like everything would just be so nice, like the meats and the vegetables, shish kebab, all this kind of stuff. But what I would notice is that you put so much time as far as preparation, as far as marinating and seasoning things, and you would be doing this often by yourself or a friend here and there. But you didn't have like all the people that were eating your food; they weren't helping you cook. It.
Okay. So and well, like I said, it'd be tough to do if I didn't love it.
Yeah.
Like, I like it when I'm in the kitchen. I love to be by myself.
Yeah.
I love to do it. It's fun.
Yeah.
And that's why I say with anything, don't do it unless you really enjoy it because it's
Right.
going to be hard to be successful. It's going to be hard.
Yeah.
Like, just know it's not going to be an easy street, and you're going to be tested. So you have to enjoy it. Like it didn't feel like it. Like cooking, it doesn't feel like a chore. Art
Okay.
doesn't feel like a chore. It doesn't
Alright.
feel like I'm going to work. So I don't take it personally when people want to consume when it's convenient or when it's ready, and it's like that's what I do it for. It's for people to enjoy. And I take that same ideal into art. Like I don't mind if whoever didn't believe in me then or didn't push me then.
Yeah.
Early on, I was like, man, that sucks. But then it's like I like doing it. Like I don't care whether they're with me or not. I like doing this. This is for me.
I'm sorry. I just thought about they asked me what they do and who I do it for, and I just thought about that.
And it's like I don't do it for anybody else but me. So I don't expect anybody to
And, oh man, so many quotes are coming out as you're talking because there's some kind of quote about if they can, if their praise, it's something like if their praise lifts you up, then their criticisms will break you down. It's something like that. And if you live and die, and
you can't die by the people's opinions. Like I remember I gave a talk at Pitt, and a young artist asked me, how do you deal with the criticism and people talking about your art or have issues? And I'm like, are they buying your art? And she was like, no. Or have they bought any of your art? And she said no. And then like, so why do you care what they say? Like, I don't give it. You're not benefiting. Your opinion doesn't help me at all.
It's
not
like
one bit.
It's like not voting, but getting mad at the politician.
Exactly. And it's like, yo, but it's things you learn along the way. Because I didn't go to art school, but these are things you learn along the way, and you can't, beat yourself up because of what somebody else thinks. Wow. They're not helping or supporting or making or break you, something like that.
Another thing that I'm gathering from what you're saying is that your source of motivation is internal, and because you're internally motivated, then no one can shake your excitement about creating art.
Yeah, I mean, I most of my life I've been a rebel. Like, I never really followed the normal path of what everybody else is doing, and I kind of just don't care what people think because it benefits me in no way for somebody to say whatever about me or like what I'm making if they're not helping me reach the next level. So they're just talking, and more often than not, they're talking negatively because they're afraid to chase whatever they're chasing,
and they're projecting onto you their fears.
Yeah. But I mean, that took years to understand and learn.
It does, because I think so. A book that I read last year, I was on like this self-help kick, and I got a bunch of books over there that I haven't even finished yet. But one book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, by Mark Manson, and he kind of talks about how social media, it really gives us, it treats success kind of like a binary, like it's like a dichotomy between either you're a failure or you're an ultra success. So either you ain't shit or you're LeBron or Oprah. When in reality, a lot of us are in between all of that. Like, we're on the spectrum somewhere. Like most things is a spectrum, and I feel like what ends up happening is because we are always caught up in the scandal, or we're caught up in sensationalism, period. So I think what ends up happening is that a lot of reason why we're unhappy and our mental health is suffering is because our value system of what success looks like for us is right, and it's contingent upon, does this person like me, as opposed to, am I doing something that's fulfilling?
Do I like me? Do I like what I'm doing? Am I enjoying the day? And I don't know why, because I've never really thought like that, but a lot of people do, and that's not how you enjoy life. And like what you were saying is, I just personally don't give a fuck about what people think. I give a fuck about what I like and enjoy and how I enjoy life, and am I contributing to society in some way, versus I'm doing this shit for the gram, I'm doing this to impress whoever.
Right.
You can't live like that.
No.
You can't live like that.
Not at all.